Welcome back to Just Meek on Deck. Today I will be discussing something that has taken place and something that is unprecedented. A former president, President Donald Trump, is going to be tried for the second time for impeachment. Donald J. Trump is not even holding office of the president, yet he's being tried. Now, as far as these so-called conspiracies are concerned, today one of these markers are supposed to take place. As they get into this impeachment trial, we were told that as Trump lawyers begin to play these videos and put out this information of what these people have put this country through. And when I say these people that are working so hard to get us back in line on this globalist agenda, that there would be a media blackout. So I'm looking for right now in the other room, I'm on the internet, I'm through YouTube, I'm watching CBS. They're covering this impeachment trial. So as this information begins to unfold, I'm looking for them to cut, as they say. It's going to be a media blackout as all this information begins to come out, because they don't want all these people to get red pilled. Which I think the majority of the people by now know what is going on, as we watch Joe Biden move with lightning speed to undo all the good that Donald Trump has done for this country. You literally have to be an idiot right now if you can't see what is going on. And I know I should not use such harsh language, and sometimes it's hard for me. I know the Bible cautions us to warn others with the heart of charity, and I struggle with that at times, because either I just shut up because I can't I get so frustrated, and you want to reach out to these people with love, but out of my frustration I just want to say, like, really, how stupid can you be? So instead of saying that, I just don't say anything and just shake my head at it. I have several people that talk to me every day at work, and my co-worker that brings me this stuff that I mentioned before, every day. He was in my ear the other day. I was on my machine doing my maintenance, minding my business. He tracked me down all the way to the back. I was on machine 71. Way back there towards the dock. He searched for me and found me to show me these pictures of allegedly Air Force One that was supposed to be Air Force One that Joe Biden had used. And he said, look at this, look at this, look at these pictures. Like, what is going on? It's like living in a Twilight Zone. Where's the presidential seal? This is not Air Force One. You see that? They don't even let him on Air Force One. And so I just listened to him, and I went home and I did my investigation. And of course, as I looked at the pictures, I saw that the plane was a lot smaller than Air Force One. And as you can see, these pictures that I'm showing you, this is Air Force One, which is nomenclature VC-25. You see the big hub bubble in the front of the plane. That plane is huge because of all the technology and what is inside that plane. Now this other plane, this is what my coworker showed me. This is Air Force Two. It does not have the presidential seal, and you can see that it's a lot smaller than Air Force One. So this is the plane that Joe Biden was riding on that day when he took that trip, you know. But people jump to conclusions. They don't do their research, which is something I admonish you all the time. Check the facts. Check what these people are telling you. See if what they are saying is true. And so I never did get back with him to tell him, excuse me, so-and-so. I'm just going to call him ZZ. ZZ, this is Air Force Two that Joe Biden is actually riding on. I want to tell him, before you start jumping to conclusions and getting all frantic, just do a little research and go and look and see if you can verify the things that these people are telling you. And this is what I do, because even today, while I was listening to Sebastian Gorka, he got kind of upset with this caller, and he made it a point to get back to this caller to get him to admit that he will not listen to these conspiracy theories. And I'm thinking, wow, like, why are you so perturbed by this? Why are you making a point, you know, to nail this man down and make him say that he doesn't believe? So we have been told, let's go back in time, what we've been told through these different websites and all these people so-called working behind the scene, and what's supposed to take place in 30 days, and President Trump is still the president. How can they have an impeachment trial if this man is not in office? So therefore he must still be the president, and what President Biden is doing is for show. If what President Biden is doing, if what he is doing is for show, how is it that these policies that he is putting forth is happening? People obviously lost their jobs. You know, things are taking place that this man is doing. So that cannot be for show. So, like I said, I am looking for this thing to take place today. As they told us, the month of February is going to be huge. On the other hand, let's give them some points. I do see a whole lot of people resigning. Jeff Zucker stepping down, the head of CNN. Jeff Bezos stepping down as CEO. On February 5th, the Secretary of State for Pennsylvania has stepped down. So, is something happening behind the scenes? That remains to be seen. Because even though these people stepping down, they might say it's for one reason, and then the other side, the so-called conspiracy theorists, say it's for this reason, because we are under a military operation, that the Department of Defense is following the war manual. If they are following the war manual, how is it that the new Secretary of Defense that President Biden has installed has told the military to stand down until they purge out this extremism? What is this extremism? All of those who have supported or said something positive about President Trump, all those who have supported Make America Great Again, America First policies. So as you can see, the nation is divided. And I guess I am on that extremist list because I love my country. I want my country to do well. The other side, who are the extremists, the pot calling the kettle black, are the ones that's working against this country. But there's something wrong with all of us. But they are the ones that are working hard to destroy this country and put us back on this globalist plan for the Great Reset, which I believe is going to usher us into the mark of the beast. Because once you go to this digital system, they can completely cut you off from your money, from everything, by a simple stroke of the keyboard. All your assets are cut off. You will not be able to participate in society until you go to re-education camp and fall in line with their agenda. But one thing must take place, and I'm pretty sure they're working hard. Bills are already in place. And now that they have all three branches of government, they can put a law in place to effectively take our guns. So many of us might go to jail who will not turn over our arms. Will this bring forth the civil war that they have been begging for? I don't know. I don't know. I pray that God intervenes and work on our behalf, because I've been going through the Old Testament lately, more specifically Chronicles and the Kings, during the time when the kingdom was split. You know, when Solomon's son went on the throne, and I spoke about this before, Rehoboam. This split came because of Solomon. Now, he didn't do it in Solomon's time because of his promise to King David. But once Solomon died, the kingdom was rent in two because of the sins of Solomon. He went out and he did everything God told him not to do, which was intermarrying with the pagan nations. One of the wives was the daughter of a king of Egypt. And all these other pagan nations, he took wives. And that took his heart from God. Because in order to please his wives, he put in place idol worship to please his wives. So he brought in idolatry. And because of that, the kingdom was rent. 10 went to one of his servants, Jeroboam, and his son Rehoboam kept 2, Judah and Benjamin. Now, as I was going through these kings, which was known, the kingdoms was known as Israel and Judah. The line of Israel continued to have problems. We've seen Ahab and many others who just did the most, especially Manasseh, whose father was Hezekiah. And you will read a statement that's constantly repeated. And he did what's right in the sight of the Lord. And he tore down the groves. And then he died. And his son took the throne. And Manasseh did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. And put the groves back. You know, worshiping in the groves. The Sodomites. And you will read about the women sewing curtains, so these Sodomites can do their acts in the groves. So you see, these acts of sodomy was taking place way back then, and it was related to devil worship, basically, because there's only one God. The Lord God Almighty, Jehovah is his name, and his son. And if you doubt that his son is God, just read through the Old Testament when they were doing all of these battles. More specifically, the Philistines. When the Philistines took the Ark of the Covenant and put it in their house of idols next to Dagon, and then they were struck in their bowels, in their private parts where hemorrhoids, they said, priests, come back and get this ark. Your gods, plural, gods, the Father and the Son, is doing these things to us. Come and get this ark and pray for us that we will be healed. So, back to what I was saying. Let me make this point. I saw God change his mind when the king would humble himself, like Manasseh, who did the most when he was drugged off, from Jerusalem into captivity. He humbled himself, and God saw that. And then God's heart was turned back to Manasseh and Judah. So I believe in our time that yes, God can still work. I see all of his people praying on the country's behalf, saying, save us, Lord, from these evildoers who wish to do us harm, who wish to destroy the sovereignty of this nation that you have set up. See, America has been infiltrated, and by the wickedness that has come in, more specifically the aborting of babies, tearing these babies apart in the womb. You know how brutal abortion is? Snatching off those little arms and legs. Those babies can feel that pain. Can you imagine dying like that? Think of you as a grown human being and they strap you up by your limbs, say to some horses, and your limbs are snatched off. Well, this is what's happening to these babies as they go inside the mother with these big scissor-like instruments and cut off their little arms and legs. Lord have mercy. It is no, I don't know what the word to use, but it's almost, let me say this. Back to these kings, because one of the things that they did as far as this idol worship, they caused their kids to pass through the fire by, Hinnom. They used to have this big iron fire statue and they would put these babies on there and sacrifice them. Can you imagine that? That thing burning, smoking, red hot, fiery hot. And they would sacrifice their kids, make them pass through the fire. God didn't tell them to do that. And so I think about the wickedness of these people, the elite, how they worship the devil and sacrifice all of these unborn babies. Why do they go so hard to have this right to murder these babies? So I believe that either God is going to intervene or he is going to let this play out, and what is taking place right now will usher us into the final days. That's just something for you to think about. And that's how I'm going to end it, because I got to get back to this impeachment trial that's going on in the other room, because I want to see if this second marker is going to take place today. A media blackout and the emergency broadcast system being put in place so we can get information as to what's going on in the world. We are also looking for mass arrests to take place, which many claim are already going on behind the scenes. As my coworker told me, oh, they got, what's the lady name? Hasper. They already have her at Gitmo. I can't verify that information. I don't know. I'm going to have to continue to research to see if I can find where this lady whereabouts is. But I try to keep him sane. But anyway, you guys, that's just my thoughts for today. My 2 cents. My little humble spiritual insight that God is showing me, what is taking place in this world. Here we are in the year 2021. This world cannot go any further. So much wickedness is taking place. Especially what is being done against these kids. The Pizzagate, which they claim they debunked. They always claim the stuff is debunked with no evidence. Epstein, they claim he is not dead, but he is alive. You know, so all these things remain to be seen. The sex child trafficking is real, and they have been doing that for years, you know. But anyway, before I go off on a whole nother tangent, let me get off of this, and I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out.